had an interesting conversation with a client recently. She had had a really big death in her family about a year ago and was just pondering whether or not she would stay in her house. And she had two people in her life, and each of them had taken a different approach to the process. And it was, I think, really illustrative to look at the different ways of doing it. In one situation, it was someone whose child had died. They were a young adult when they died. They were in their early 20s, had died 20 years earlier. And this was a person in my client's life. And they had never changed anything in their house. His room was still the same. His clothes were hanging in the closet. And they were processing and being with their grief by keeping everything the same. And then there was another person in her life who had had someone die suddenly. Also a young adult, had someone die suddenly, and a month after the death, she moved. And my guess, our guess, as we talked about it, was that she was processing her grief by feeling like there was so much pain in the house that if she went to a new house, maybe there wouldn't be as much pain. And, of course, my heart goes out to both those parents because it's a terrible, awful thing to lose a child, no matter what their age is. And everybody has to move through their grief in their own way. But it can be helpful to recognize that it's not the physical, material world that either causes the pain or prevents the pain. It's what happens inside us. It's the processing work we do to come to terms with the fact that the person we love is gone. They're not in the physical world anymore. They're existing in some other dimension, in the afterlife. Maybe they're just existing as a memory in our heart, but we need to come into a non-physical relationship with them and let the physical things lose their charge. Because as long as we try and hold on to the physical, either by holding it tight or pushing it away, we're still linking that dead person's relationship with us to the physical, and they are not in the physical anymore. And it's a hard thing to do, and it has to be done gently and slowly with lots of patience and support in your own time and in your own way. But that's really what the grieving process is coming to terms with the fact that the person isn't in the physical anymore. We need to find a non-physical way to be in relationship with them.